Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Dr. Barkis Ophthalmology Tutorials. Today I will be discussing yet another confusing chapter, that is ocular movements. So don't write the letter E here. EOM means, so it's coming to ocular movements, it can be classified as uniocular movements and binocular movements. In uniocular movements means you are checking the movement of eye in one eye only. So if the person is looking up, it is called as elevation. When they are looking down, it is called as depression. When they are looking nasally, called as adduction. Away from nose, that is abduction. And when the person is looking down and in, that is called as intorsion. Down and out is called as extorsion. So in uniocular movements, you have elevation, depression, adduction and abduction, as well as intorsion and extorsion. Coming to the binocular movements, here you have versions and vergence. In vergence you have convergence and divergence. The major difference between the versions and vergence is, versions means both the eyes will be looking towards the same side. Suppose I am looking here, both the eyes are looking towards the same side. Looking up, both the eyes are looking towards same side. That is versions. Whereas vergence means both the eyes will be looking in opposite direction. So we have convergence and divergence here. So what is convergence? Suppose I am looking at a distant object and suddenly something comes here. So my two eyes will suddenly converge to see this. That is called as convergence. The opposite action is divergence. So whenever I am converging, my right eye is looking towards the left and the left eye is looking towards the right. So that is the difference between your versions and vergence. So we will go to the versions. We have primary position first. So what is primary position? When somebody is looking straight ahead with the head in erect position and looking at a distant object, that becomes the primary position. Okay. So this will be the primary position. When they are looking up, it is called as supraversion. When they are looking down, it is called as infraversion. So suppose this is patient's right side and this is patient's left side. Then somebody is looking to the right side, it is called as dextroversion. And when they are looking to the left, it is called as levoversion. We will come to this position. So if somebody is looking in this gaze, okay, if I am looking at my finger like this, so that becomes elevation and towards the right. So that is called as dextro elevation. Similarly, depression and towards the right, it is called as dextro depression. Similarly, on the left side, elevation, it is called as levo elevation. Depression on the left side is called as levo depression. Okay, so these are the version movements. In this, there is something called as primary position, which I already explained. The secondary positions of gaze are the supraversion, infraversion, direct towards the right and direct towards the left. These are secondary positions of gaze. And these four, that is dextro elevation, dextro depression, levo elevation and levo depression, form the tertiary positions of gaze. Okay. And there is one more word called as the cardinal positions of gaze. There are 6 cardinal positions of gaze. These 3 and these 3 form the 6 cardinal positions of gaze. If you include these 3 also with this, that becomes 9 diagnostic positions of gaze. In cardinal positions of gaze, you can almost make out all 12 extraocular muscles of both the eyes. So adding to this, these diagnostic positions help in making the diagnosis of your stress. So there are some words which are used frequently when you are checking for ocular movements. They are agonistic muscle. Agonistic muscle is nothing but whenever some muscle is put into action, there is some eye movement. For example, if I am looking up, there is contraction of the superior rectus muscle of both the eyes. So let me take the example of my right eye only. So when I am looking up, there is contraction of the superior rectus of my right eye. So when there is contraction of the superior rectus, that is called as agonistic muscle, there is simultaneous contraction of one more muscle from the same eye, which helps in this movement. So that muscle is the inferior oblique muscle of the right eye. This is called as synergistic muscle. So when I am looking up, there is contraction of the superior rectus Along with that, there is simultaneous relaxation of the inferior rectus muscle, thereby allowing the eye to move up. So that is called as antagonistic muscle. So let me take one more example. Suppose I am looking towards my right, that is dextroversion. There is contraction of my right lateral rectus. Along with that, so that becomes the agonistic muscle. Along with that, there is contraction of my left medial rectus. So these two together form yoke muscle. So with the same example, when I am looking towards my right, there is contraction of my right lateral rectus, that is agonistic muscle, and there is relaxation of left lateral rectus to cause this movement. So these two muscles are called as contralateral antagonistic muscle. Okay, so let me repeat. Agonistic, synergistic, antagonistic muscles are present in same eye. Yoke muscles and contralateral antagonistic muscles are from both eyes. Agonistic muscle, the contraction of which causes the movement in some particular direction. Synergistic muscle, present in the same eye, contraction of which helps in the movement of the agonistic muscle. Antagonistic muscle, again present in the same eye, the relaxation of which helps in the movement of this agonistic muscle. Yoke muscles, present in both the eyes, contraction of which leads to movement in some particular direction. Again, the contralateral antagonistic muscle is the one which is present in the other eye, the relaxation of which these are happening. So these are governed by some law called as Hering's law of equal innervation and Sherrington's law of reciprocal innervation. So Hering's law and Sherrington's law. So Hering's law of equal innervation means there is same amount of innervation which is going to synergistic muscles or yoke muscles. Whereas Sherrington's law of reciprocal innervation means there is opposite innervation, means one muscle is getting complete innervation whereas the other muscle is not getting any innervation. That is Sherrington's law of opposite innervation going to antagonistic muscles or the ocular movements. At the end of this video, I will be telling how to note these ocular movements on your case sheet. Okay, before going to that, let me take a small subtopic of this, that is supranuclear control of the eye movements. So why this supranuclear control of eye movements is needed means to keep the image of some object on the fovea constantly even when the object is moving or our head or the body is moving. Okay, so that is governed by your supranuclear pathways. So in that we have saccadic eye movements, pursuit eye movements, vestibulo-ocular movements and optokinetic movements. So what is saccadic eye movement? These are conjugate, rapid, jerky movements which will be suddenly shifting from one object to another object. For example, if I want to look at these two fingers alternatively, so my eyes will be moving from one finger to another finger rapidly. So this movement is called as the saccadic movement. Coming to pursuit movement, suppose if I want to follow this finger constantly like this. This is called as pursuit movement. These are also conjugate but slow eye movements tracking the object. Coming to vestibular ocular movements. Vestibular ocular movement is nothing but, suppose I am looking at this finger and somebody calls me there, my head turns but still my eye maintains the fixation. This is by the vestibulo-ocular reflex leading to vestibulo-ocular movement. Coming to the optokinetic movement, we have a classic example. When somebody wants to see through the window of a moving train, there will be smooth pursuit movement which will be following some object. When that disappears, suddenly our eyes will move again with a saccadic movement to refixate at some other object. That is nothing but optokinetic movement. So these are the supranuclear. See how to note these ocular movements on the case sheet. So if I am looking towards my right, that is dextroversion, my right eye lateral rectus is contracting and left eye medial rectus is contracting. So write that here, right eye lateral rectus and left eye medial rectus. Similarly, in this case, that is when I am looking towards the left side, levoversion, my left eye lateral rectus is contracting and right eye medial rectus is contracting. Okay. So in this position, that is in this dextro elevation position, my right eye superior rectus is contracting. So along with that, the yoke muscle for that, the inferior oblique of the left eye. So right superior rectus and left inferior oblique muscle. Similarly here there will be left superior rectus and right inferior oblique muscle. So the next movement, when I am looking down and towards the left, that is dextrodepression. My right inferior rectus is contracting. The yoke muscle for this, that is the left superior rectus. Left superior oblique. So that is right inferior rectus and left superior oblique. Similarly, in the dextrodepression position, we have left inferior rectus, which is the agonistic muscle. Further, the yoke muscle becomes the right superior oblique. So if you write this chart in your case sheet, you are commenting about all the muscles. So see which muscle is overactive, which is normal and which is underactive, and just mention in front of the muscle. Hope this video was useful. If you learned something out of my video, please do subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon for the further notifications. Thank you so much.